Time.
Okay, good morning, actually. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. The time is now 11:37. My name's Chris Nappy. I'm a Natural Resource Officer for the town of Barnstable. We're meeting in the Barnstable Town Hall Selectmen's Conference Room for changes regarding the town of Barnstable shellfish, eel, herring, and aquaculture regulations. So these regulation changes are proposed by the Natural Resources and Marine Environmental Affairs Department after consultation with the Shellfish Committee. So we have a few regulation changes that we have to go through. There's actually 8 of them. They were voted on at separate times by the Shellfish Committee. So I'll just go through and list each regulation separately in the days that they were approved by the Shellfish Committee. 407-15 and 407-36 were voted on by the Shellfish Committee, reviewed and voted on August 9th of 2023, and a unanimous vote of 7 in attendance and 7 in favor. On January 10th, 2024, Regulation 407-12, 407-50, and 407-60 had a unanimous vote of 8 in attendance and 8 in favor, and 407-54 and 407-57 and Regulation 407-59 at the same on the same date of January 10th, 2024, 8 in attendance, 4 voted in favor of that, and 3 votes not in favor, and 1 failed to vote. So Shellfish Constable Amy Croto is present, and she's going to go through the regulations. So like I said, we'll just do one at a time. The first one is 407-12, which is the classes of permits and permit conditions. So what are the changes there and the rationale?
Yeah, so on the screen you can see we are looking to remove issuance of recreational permits to persons and removing other than aliens. We feel it's sort of outdated and not necessarily politically correct terminology. And so we're looking to strike that. We are looking to add the word permit after Town of Barnstable commercial shellfish application, because it's a permit application. And then finally, and most notably, we were making changes to the apprentice commercial shellfishing permit regulation. We realized that the apprentice program from its inception probably worked, 20 plus years ago, but now we are looking at giving youth more time to complete the apprenticeship and the ability to go through commercial permitting process once the apprenticeship is complete, rather than having to wait until their 18th birthday. So it just provides more opportunity for a young person to enter into a fishery after having gone through the program, given that it is a closed fishery otherwise.
Okay. So the next regulation change is 407-15, and that's an amendment to the Shell Fishery Conservation and Management Regulation.
Yep, so this proposed change takes into account that the scientific name for razor clam had changed in the last handful of years, so we're just bringing that into compliance. And then we were striking from destruction of shellfish or shellfish habitat the fine section as it was being moved into another area.
Okay, thank you. The third regulation change would be for 407-36, and that regulation is the commercial jackknife clam and common razor clam shellfishing.
And again, this is specifically to change the scientific names of both common and jackknife, common and stout razor clams.
Okay, number 4, 407, Regulation 407-50, filing and posting of applicants.
So Because the Marine Environmental Affairs Department has gone to online permitting, we now are sort of the keepers of the aquaculture wait lists. And so instead of requiring the town manager to be the person who keeps that active list on file in a building other than ours, we are now, through this regulation change, becoming the responsible party for maintaining the aquaculture wait lists. And those lists will be available to anyone at their request.
Thank you. Regulation change number 5, 40754, exclusivity of license, subleasing prohibited, transfer of license, untimely death of licensee.
Yes, so this was to address the issue of inheritance of an aquaculture license by family in the event of an untimely death. We had put a similar provision a number of years ago for commercial permits and felt that in the interest of being able to keep a family farming, that having this change more properly aligns with the state statute, Mass General Law, Chapter 130, Section 57, and also would allow the immediate family, meaning spouse, son, daughter, mother, father, brother, or sister of deceased licensee, to meet our aquaculture permitting requirements, and then determine whether or not they would like to continue operation of the farm, and if not, either have the option to transfer or to revert the license back to the town.
Very good, thank you. Regulation change number 6 is acreage limitations.
So over the past 10 to 15 years, requests for changes to acreage limitations have been a discussion amongst the stakeholders and also the Shellfish Committee. After many years of discussion, it was decided to arrive at a common ground for a modest acreage increase, going from initially not more than 2 acres on the north side and 2 acres on the south side to 4 acres on the north side and 4 acres on the south side that could be held by an individual. We have also, at the request of growers, allowed for the aquaculture license itself to have the name of the individual licensee, their position within their business name, and their business address, which is their domicile.
Okay, thank you. Regulation change number 7, 40759, reasonable production value. That title is changing, correct?
Yes, so we're removing production value and renaming it Shellfish Investment Standards. This is to bring our annual sort of review of aquaculture and their production and use of their sites into the now for people who manage more than one site. They may be using a site strictly as a nursery from time to time and don't necessarily have a minimum production standard of market value product, but do have a large amount of money invested in the seed that's present on their site. So allowing for that to be included as an investment standard rather than a production standard was what we were looking to achieve with this regulation change.
Okay. And regulation change number 8, 40760, filing of annual reports.
So we're requesting this change become filing of annual reports and then requirements for new licensees. There have been some concerns over people from the wait list not having had any history of aquaculture or farming in their background being issued licenses. There were concerns over protecting the Barnstable brand of aquaculture, and similar to other towns that have adopted this type of regulation, we would be requiring that new licensees, if they do not already have a history of aquaculture farming that they can show to the satisfaction of the Shellfish Constable, that they take the Cape Cod Cooperatives Extension's shellfish farming course or something commensurate with that within the first 2 years of holding the license.
Very good. So, Councilmember Gordon Starr, you're here. Do you have any comments to add regarding any of these regulation changes?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we don't have anybody else from the general public here to take any additional comment. So we'll send these regulation changes and the recommendations to the town manager. The town manager's approval of the shellfish, eel, herring, and aquaculture regulations become effective upon the expiration of 30 days from the date within town council is notified in writing of said regulation approval unless town council votes within said time to disapprove of the said regulations. So I should note that this meeting was recorded, and the time is now 11:43. What is that? 47. So I'll close the hearing. Thank you.